Diablo 4 is dealing with its biggest problem yet. This problem can easily destroy any future that this game could possibly ever have. And I am obviously talking about the current absolutely unhinged and rampant toxic positivity that's going around. Toxic positivity was already previously a problem. It admittedly exists in every game and every situation, but with the announcement of Season 4, the toxic positivity in Diablo 4 has just shot through the absolute roof. Anything negative, no matter how small or how large you say, is instantaneously labeled by a huge group of people as just toxic negativity that should be ignored. If you don't like it, you don't play the game. Well, sadly, opinions like this will completely destroy Diablo 4. A lot of people are currently getting labeled as just toxic haters of the game who will say just negative things for negativity's sake. Even Rex got labeled as a toxic Diablo 4 hater, which is kind of honestly a lot insane. Now, I understand that I could get labeled as a toxic hater because I have given up on actually giving Blizzard feedback, because when we gave Blizzard feedback, they completely ignored all of it and did the opposite what people asked. So I don't see a lot of reason to just tell Blizzard what needs to be fixed and how it needs to be fixed. I currently mostly just say that things are bad and what is bad and it needs changing. And I will continue doing this. And that does not make me a hater. I actually want the game to succeed. And we're gonna watch Rags just, draw and move his hands, because this was a really good video, honestly. But everyone is currently experiencing a lot of it. And these toxic positive people are completely misunderstanding the situation and potentially killing Diablo 4 forever. If this keeps on going, Diablo 4 will just drop down into the same absolute minute obscure relevancy that Diablo 3 is enjoying currently and has been enjoying since the moment of its launch. Because they, as Diablo 4, did not cater to the needs of the masses, and they only started caring about what people say when all the players have left. Which is, well, how the current situation with Season 4 is actually playing out with toxic positivity. I will explain everything about Season 4 and why this toxic positivity is actually so damn damaging. So first of all, people need to understand that not everything said negative. Even if you add absolutely no positive, constructive feedback to a situation, that does not mean that someone's just being a hater for the sake of hating. It is not my job to fix Blizzard's game. It is not anyone else's job of you to fix Blizzard's game. Blizzard already chose to ignore our feedback, and they have been doing that ever since then. And since Season 4 got announced, I think Diablo is heading in the absolute wrong direction, aka what I have been saying for an extremely long time, that it's going into the path of Diablo 3. Unquestionably the worst Diablo ever made. A complete and utter failure by absolutely every standard. And Diablo 3 also failed, well, pretty much the same way that Diablo 4 is currently failing, honestly. So let's get into the Season 4 changes and why they are bad, and they're actually such a bad thing. Yet people are choosing to say, oh, it's such a win. Well, the reason why people are saying it's a win is because most of these people cannot look more than 2 seconds into the future. And if you look objectively at the changes that the developers want to do for Season 4 with the item rework, with the PTR, with pretty much the everything, and I'm going to explain everything in detail, it's really bad. And, well, let's go into this, why it's really bad. First of all, the item rework. The item rework is not an actual rework. If calling what they want to do in Season 4 as an actual item rework is absolute blasphemy in my opinion, because they did not rework shit. All they did was remove affixes from items, potential from items, and replace it with damage multipliers and cooldown reduction, which is again one more step in the direction of Diablo 3, which is something that I don't want and no one honestly wants. So this is the main problem right here. They did not change the items, they simplified the items. The problem with Diablo 4's itemization was never the fact that some items granted you damage on Tuesdays when it was raining. The problem with these stats and affixes was the fact that the Diablo 4 did not fundamentally give you a chance to make it Tuesday and raining whenever you needed to. The fact that there are affixes like that is not a bad thing. Path of Exile is hailed as a hero for its crafting systems, and they are good and complex, arguably too complex in fact. But there are actually crafting systems. Diablo 4 does not do any of that. It initially tried to went for the PoE style of crafting, but it added all these multipliers of damage on Tuesday without actually giving you the ability to make it Tuesday. And that's what was missing from these items. And Diablo 4 devs didn't make these affixes better. They removed most of them and made them simpler. Now we are literally back almost to the same exact type of itemization that Diablo 3 is, where the only stats that matter are your main stat, crit damage, crit rate, and attack speed. Now instead of that there's a little bit more in Diablo 4, but still effectively it is a giant step backwards. With an itemization like this, will it feel better in the start? Yes it will. And I said about this, all the itemization changes, all of the crafting changes, all of the changes that they are doing are gonna feel good for a week. And then it's gonna be bad. And the problem is, when you start making things simpler, it's really hard to make them more complex. So the itemization changes, in my opinion, are a complete, absolute 100% loss because we gain nothing by making them more simpler. You're effectively just adding more damage to items, and that's it. And your most creative solution to the itemization is essentially saying, oh, Necromancer Bone Spear Splinters have a 10% chance to cast double. That is pathetic. Admittedly, that's the right direction. We need more of that. But overall, that is pretty pathetic. And that's their best thing ever. They didn't really get anything more of that, really. So, yeah. As you can see, that's my opinion. That's how it works. And as long as they don't, that is like that, I'm never going to say it's good, because objectively it's a complete failure because of that. But we can go deeper. We can go into the crafting system. I said that the crafting system was better than what we had previously, because previously we didn't even have a crafting system. But admittedly, this is not really a crafting system at the moment. It's just better than what we had previously, because again, previously we didn't have anything. And that's a very fair thing to say, because we didn't have a crafting system at all. So now we have something, but this crafting system is very lackluster. It's more of an identifying system, honestly, than a crafting system. It's more like a situation where you can put on gear that's identified and, identify it later and you figure out what it does. This is not a real crafting system. Master crafting, upgrading your stats 12 times instead of 5 is not really good. Oh, but you can hit something and it gets a bigger... That's not crafting. That is literally just adding more stats. And that is boring. That is completely boring. That is not what I want to see in the game. That is mostly what no one wants to see in the game. A game needs to have at least a little bit of reasonable complexity inside of it. And the Diablo 4 devs just completely fucking neutered all of that, which is absolutely pathetic. And not the right way to doing things. This is what Diablo 3 suffered from. You only had 2 stats, damage and defense. It was simplified to such an obscene level, it was insanity. And this is slowly happening to Diablo 4 also now. Again, they're removing everything and just adding more damage multipliers, more cooldown reduction to skills. Cooldown reduction to skills is actually good in my opinion. But, still, it's the wrong way to do it. That your perfect item entails something as trivial and stupid and simple as your main stat, crit damage or crit rate, plus damage to some kind of skill in its cooldown, that is absolutely not itemization. That is pathetic. Okay? Path of Exile has all the damage on Tuesdays when it's raining, when it's stormy outside, and when a clown crosses the road. But it works, because it gives the players the chance to actually get it always to be that day. Diablo 4 doesn't even no longer attempt it, it just simplified it down and made it shittier. A game this simple will not grab anyone's attention for more than a day or two, because it's just simply too easy. If items only have 2 affixes and then you get to roll for the other affixes, by the way, what's the difference from that item just dropping already with the 4 affixes, by the way? There is no real difference. There's just the illusion of being it more targeted. And by the way, the devs are so absolutely incompetent in doing these changes that they didn't even remove a lot of affixes that are just flat out stupid and bad and people don't use. So they kind of already failed on that. And now the absolute worst part about the toxic positivity is the fact that there's going to be a PTR. Making a fucking PTR when the game is literally only played by people who thought that the game is amazing from day one and has not stopped being amazing from day one, means that they're going to be the mass majority of people in your PTR. Which means, how the hell are you going to get feedback? Because everything you do is suddenly amazing, viable, and the bestest thing ever. Because these people can't already think the game is amazing, which is objectively not true. Because currently, probably less than 1% of the player base that initially was currently still is, which is insanely low numbers. Yes, there is a gradual drop-off in players. Yeah, sure, it is. But it's not this, it shouldn't be this high. We're talking about Diablo like it's Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, Redfall, or Skull and Bones. We're talking about that kind of player drop-off at the moment, where almost no one plays the game but the people who are so insane they think the game is currently amazing. All of that is absolutely horrible in my opinion. And now these people are going to give the feedback? That's even worse. Because they don't want to change the game. They are the 0.1%ers who think the game is really good currently. And you should not listen to the people who say everything's bad about the game, and you should not listen to people who say everything's good about the game. Doing that is just, well, typical Blizzard behavior, honestly. They only know extremes. Either it's going to be too easy or it's going to be too hard or whatever. And all of this is just bad. And currently it's all run by just this absolute unbelievable amount of toxic positivity that just doesn't make sense to even exist in the first place. Everyone who remotely says anything bad about the game just gets instantaneously called a hater, and that's pretty much it. I have the right to hate the game, but people actually don't understand that that's normal. The people who are currently obsessed with their toxic positivity, by the way, don't understand the fact that they are literally doing the same thing that they accuse of other people of doing. If you're so toxic positive about the game that anyone who says anything bad about the game is bad, then you're essentially trying to do the same thing that they are trying to do with your game, in your opinion. You're literally fighting in a circle in this situation, which is absolutely just blind and stupid also. So yeah. Also, oh, but by the way, just for the people who call me just a blind Diablo 4 hater, go back. Well, before the game launched, I talked about the game. I said this looks really good. I'm looking forward to it. This looks amazing. I did admittedly say that I think a couple of skills are dead on arrival, which I, by the way, was right. I have been currently right about almost everything I have predicted for Diablo 4, which is bad, because most of the things I have predicted were bad, and they are bad. So, that's not good in general. But, yeah, I'm not just a blind hater. I'm not just doing this for easy clicks. If the game is good, then it's as easy clicks as the game is bad. This is what some idiots don't understand. Okay? Game doing amazing. Everyone's being positive about it. For example, look at Helldivers 2. Okay? You get as easy clicks as if game is bad. I'm talking about Diablo 4 being bad because it has been fucking bad forever now. And I still want Todd Ferguson to be fired because those losers are just completely messing up absolutely everything, and I hate it. It is what it is. Deal with it. Stop this toxic positivity bullshit because it's absolutely just going to destroy the game or what's left of it. Diablo 4 is going in the wrong direction with it becoming way too easy, way too simplistic, and, that's pretty much it. Anyway, this was it. This was Because Said, saying thanks for watching, subscribe if you haven't already, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.